Knicks yesterday. Maybe a preview of the NBA Finals. We'll see. Pick it up in the fourth quarter. Knicks are down by 4. Karl Anthony Towns, Allen, trying to make something happen inside.
Well, they were playing, he had Smalls on him all game, and he finally decided he was going to dominate in the second half, and he did. The Knicks made this a game because they were gritty.
That was a 3-point play that made it a 1-point game. Then as Alex Caruso, it's a 4-point lead. Jalen Brunson would score 32 as he would keep the Knicks within striking distance. It's a 2-point game there, but then SGA just goes on his own run. Clutch buckets from SGA in that fourth.
This was the downshift, Greeny. Like, the Thunder just turned it on, literally. Clutch time, SGA came to the call, and he just got to his spots over and over again. Like, there's just more room for error when you look at the Thunder compared to the Knicks.
He would score 30 in this game, Allen. That was the difference.
Yeah, it went to the free throw line a ton in this game as well, which is a conversation afterwards. 16 free throw attempts for SGA.
And then he finds Chet Holmgren there. Holmgren had 16 and 9. OKC wins it 111-100. And so they look awfully good. So I want to start with them. The Knicks this season now against the top 2 teams, meaning the current 1 seeds in the East and the West, are 0-5 this year. You're going to see that stat all over the place. Both of you know the Knicks extraordinarily well. If someone was going to say this game could be a preview of the NBA Finals, what do we say about the Knicks and their inability to knock off the top teams this year?
Well, I think, Greeny, the facts are the stats that you just looked at. And when I think of those games, obviously Detroit was a unique situation in terms of how those games were not competitive. They have been competitive versus the Thunder. But again, the room for error is so much smaller for the Knicks. They didn't get to the free throw line in the customary way that you're accustomed to seeing Jalen Brunson get to the line. SGA owned that category. They have to get to the glass versus that team, and they've got to be able to stay attached. That 4-minute window, like, that was the ball game. Otherwise, the Knicks did a really good job of responding with runs. But you could see on the reigning champs, cool, y'all made y'all run? No, we'll just make ours.
Yeah, and if you're the Knicks and you want to get to the finals, you got to hope somebody takes out the Thunder. They haven't beaten them in 3 years.
Right.
6 straight losses now to this team. There's certain teams that just are a tough matchup for you. This certainly is one of them. Unless they can figure out how to get Towns to dominate when they put Caruso and other small players on him, this is not going to be that's not going to be a great series. But the Knicks' biggest problem right now is their inconsistency with their identity. Yeah. Who are they game to game, and what is it that they can lean on when it is a close game and a tight game against good teams? That's been their problem pretty much all year, of course, with the coaching change.
Well, they got 2 weeks to figure it out, so we'll see if they can.
Of time.
In the meantime, JWill, I've not had you on the NBA in a while here. I want to put the MVP odds up on the screen if I can. We're going right down the stretch of the season. SGA, we just showed it at another very big game. But look in the rear-view mirror. Victor Wembanyama is coming on strong. Ever since he basically sat there and said, hey, you know what? I should be the MVP. The whole world has taken a closer look and said, you know what? He may very well be right. I'm asking you the question right now, JWill. SGA or Wembanyama? Who's the MVP of the league?
Right now, I have SGA, Greeny, but I do want to say this. I would love to see us finally reward the regular season. The Spurs are 2.5 games back from OKC. Can we just say whoever wins the regular season, who has the best record, ends up getting the MVP? I mean, I think you're talking about 2 prolific players who are extremely dominant. Obviously, Victor, one of the most dominant players in the history of basketball. But I actually want to see it be a regular season award, and I want to see it culminate with who has the better record down the stretch.
Okay, so right now they are separated by 2.5 games. Monica, if before the season began I told you OKC is going to win something like 65 games this year, what would you have said? Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Right? If I told you San Antonio is going to win something like 63 or 64 games this year, what would you have said?
I'd have been like, Greeny, what's in your coffee?
That's what I mean. Wembanyama having his team where it is, I'm not taking anything away from SGA. He's unbelievable. He's the reigning MVP, and he'll probably win another championship this year. But Wembanyama having that team where they are this year is the single biggest accomplishment of any player in this regular season.
Over what Jaylen Brown did for the Celtics.
That would be the other one to put in the conversation. But that is still a team with championship DNA and a lot of other players. And San Antonio is not. They also have, for whatever it's worth, they have 6 more wins than the Celtics do right now.
I'm just tossing that out there
I hear
for the
you.
sake of the conversation. Here's my thing with that argument is not flawed. I think that's very legitimate. But I also think we're in this place where just because of the awe factor, nobody is talking about Defensive Player of the Year because it will go to Victor Wembanyama.
Right.
I just think when we look at what the Thunder have done, those 2.5 games matter to Jay's point, and how efficient Shai Alexander has been from the guard position. Just because it isn't as jaw-dropping doesn't mean that that's not something very much worthy of respect and an MVP.
I think it's harder what Wemby's doing than what SGA is doing. It's more difficult because we've never seen it before. Like,
He's
that's
the
what it's
biggest thing
about.
on the floor.
Yeah, okay. And how many guys his size have we ever seen do anything like that? We've had other guys 7'4" in this league.
Yeah.
Nobody does what he does. And as Greeny said, he's also doing it with a very young team around him. To me, all of that has to be part of this. That's why if you want to reward the regular season, like Jay said, which we should do, you have to reward the fact that the Spurs are way more than we thought they'd be, and he's the reason why. This goes back to the same thing of, is it best player in the league on the best team, or is it most valuable player, meaning most valuable to his team? You can make the argument, but I do agree, though, that you have to at least make it a game before the end of the season that you could take first place.
Go ahead, Jay, finish it up.
It's more difficult because it's never been done before. I don't know how I feel about that argument. Like,
come on, Jay.
Being 6'5",
Well, I mean,
being 6'5",
it's never been done before.
in a league full of giants, on the numbers that Shea is putting up, is ridiculous.
Come on.
I think it's boring to people, Monica, and I think people get tired of it being boring. Oh, he just does it. If from somebody who's a smaller guard, Monica can say, that's hard. When you're 7'6", I'm not taking anything away from his athletic ability and his ability to block out the sun. It's incredible. You should be dominant. Yao Ming should be dominant when he plays a game at 7'6". But I'm not going to say it's harder. It's definitely harder for Shea.
What Wemby's doing, again, you have to understand at his size with what he's got around him. I'm talking about the agility at that size,
MVP?
the shooting touch. He's in the conversation.
I didn't say that.
He's right there. The two of them are side by side.
I'll help you.
Ask him, Monica.
I'll help you. The answer is yes. He's the MVP. All right, I have to leave it there. I'm carving out 10 minutes in the second hour to get back to this. But as we continue, back to the NFL and the dilemma in the dog pound.
Flip to February, best in the NBA, tied for the best 26-game span in the Spurs history, which is considerable. They're 56-18 this season, just 2 games behind the Thunder for the top seed, 8 games ahead of the Lakers for the 3 seed, where 3.5 games separate the Lakers from the Rockets and that 6th seed. It's all bunched up in the West as today marks exactly 2 weeks left in the regular season. NBA analyst Quentin Richardson is with us. So Q, we know those top 2 teams in the West have it all going on. Give me another team that you think could really make some noise.
Man, I really think that once Denver gets healthy, I mean, they just got Aaron Gordon back into the fold. They got Peyton Watson, the young fella, back into the fold. I feel like they got a few games before the playoffs to get themselves back in sync. And I feel like they're one of the most complete teams after you talk about the Spurs and the Thunder in the West. I feel like they have Joker, who's been there to carry them to a championship. They got championship-type pieces that was part of that championship run they made. So they know what it takes. And I truly believe that they have a team that could possibly give either of these 2 teams real problems if they meet them in the playoffs.
Even though they trailed the Jazz by 13 last night, they did pull out the win, man. But come on, they got to tighten it up.
It happens.
I personally would not want to see the Timberwolves either. I think they're super scary. All right, let's go.
Ant-Man.
Right, Ant-Man. Once he turns it on, forget it. All right, let's go to the East. Let's talk about Boston. Obviously, they're sitting in that 2 spot. They're a game and a half ahead of the Knicks. They're 8-3 since Tatum returned. But is there an aspect of what they've done this season that we're not talking about enough?
Absolutely, and I feel like, it's too much attention focused on Jason Tatum returning and whose team it is and all of that between him and Jaylen Brown, when meanwhile, the Celtics play crazy good defense. I think Mazzulla has done an amazing job. When you look at the counterparts, when you go away from the Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they've got a kid named Shireman, they've got Luke Garza, they've got a kid named Hauser. You got guys that you really hadn't heard of stepped up, being big-time players, playing defense, playing hard. Like Luke Garza is a literal junkyard dog in that paint and on the boards, and just being a rugged player, doing dirty work things, helping that team. So I think those other guys and all of the other things, the defense and the other guys, don't give enough credit for the Celtics.
Yeah, I really like that because that feels like throwback Celtics to me, right? Playing great defense. They're allowing the fewest points in the NBA this season on average. All right, let's flip ahead to today. Just mentioned the Knicks, really good one in OKC. So we have the Thunder, we have the Knicks going at it. OKC came into the Garden. They won by 3 earlier this month. What are you watching out for today?
I'm watching for the way they're going to be defending Jalen Brunson and Cat Anthony Towns. I mean, like, big body Brunson is the point of attack. He's the lead dog for the Knicks. And I feel like the Thunder have the perfect antidote with all of those lengthy athletic guards. I could see them starting out with Casey Wallace on him. He's the leader in the league in steals, and he's a great defensive player. But they have ample bodies to throw at them. And then the physicality that the bigs bring on the inside with Hardenstein, Holmgren, and the guys coming off the bench, Jalen Williams. I want to see how Cat responds to that and how he plays.
Yeah, because they held Big Body Brunson and Cat to a combined 34 points in that first meeting. Q, love the stripes and love the analysis
Thank you,
today.
thank you.
Thanks, my friend. That's a very
Compliments from the legend.
I like
I'm grateful
it.
today.
Bye, Q. Thanks.